Hello everyone, the story I'm going to share today is Lan Caihe's compassion made him immortal. Lan Caihe is one of the 8 Immortals of Taoism during the reign of the Emperor Xuanzong of Tang Dynasty. He appeared on the street as a beggar, holding a flower basket filled with mystery things. Sometimes he wore tattered clothes and held large clapper in one hand, with one foot in a boot and the other bare. Although he was male, he often dressed up as female. Usually he begged in the streets, but sometimes he passed on the money he got from begging to the poor. And sometimes he went drinking and singing when he was drunk. His lyrics were often full of fairy meanings, which were difficult for ordinary people to understand. In summer, he liked to wear thick clothes. In winter, he used to lie on the snow, with white hot stream coming out his body. Older people were saying that they had seen him during their childhood, but Lan Caihe's appearance had not changed. Here is one of his stories about how he became immortal. Lan Caihe became a doctor at the age of 18. He often went to the mountains to collect medicinal herbs. When he became hungry or thirsty, he just ate some wild fruit and drank spring water. One day, when he went to the mountain to collect herbs, he saw an old man sleeping on the side of the lotus pond. He had large eyes, curved eyebrows, and a swollen belly. Lan Caihe noticed that pus was oozing from a sore on the man's belly and black blood dripped out. Lan Caihe realized that the man must be suffering and felt pity for him. He sucked out the pus. When he had cleaned out all the blood and pus, he made herbal plaster and applied it to the wound. Suddenly, the sore began to bleed. Lan Caihe was surprised and thought, "This is so strange. My herbal plaster is usually 100% effective." After a while, the old man opened his eyes and shouted at Lan Caihe, "Fool, why don't you fill your basket with water and wash away the blood?" Lan Caihe thought, using a basket to collect water is useless. He didn't have anything else to collect water in, so he went to the pond and fetched water. When he came back, there was not even a drop of water in his basket. The old man laughed and said, "You are truly stupid. Why don't you get some mud and mend the basket?" Lan Caihe felt a little ashamed and did exactly what the old man said. When Lan Caihe came back, the water in the basket was a muddy soup. The old man was very angry and shouted, "Idiot, dump it out quickly and get a basket of clean water." Lan Caihe was about to lose his temper, but he knew the old man was in pain, so he felt sorry for him and held his tongue. Just as he was standing there, uncertain about what to do next, he suddenly saw a beautiful lady standing nearby, laughing. As a wave of embarrassment washed over him, the lady said, "My brother, can't you think of another method?" Lan Caihe looked at Lotus Pond and looked at his basket, but he could not think of anything. The lady and the old man looked at each other, and then the lady said, "Compare the lotus leaves to the pond mud. Which one is better?" Lan Caihe looked at the white green lotus leaves and slapped his forehead. He suddenly knew what to do. He ran over and gathered a few leaves and lined the basket with them. Then he was able to collect water and carry it to the old man. When he poured a basket of clear water over the sore on the old man's belly, the wound disappeared and his flesh looked normal. Lan Caihe was so shocked that he stood there with his mouth hanging open. The old man stood up, pointing to the pond, said, "Didn't you feel cold when you went into the pond? The water is magical. Why don't you go and drink it?" Lan Caihe went to the pond and, cupping some water in his hands, drank it. As he swallowed, he felt a fragrance enter his body, and he felt very light. The lady picked up the basket and said, "Brother, you are now an immortal." The old man grabbed Lan Caihe's arm and they flew to the sky. The old man said, "Let's go on a play on Penglai Island." Lan Caihe looked down to the earth through the mushroom-shaped clouds and followed the old man, the lady, to Penglai Island. The old man was Zhong Liquan and the lady was Lotus Fairy He Xiangu. They were two of the immortals of the famous Eight Immortals in Chinese history. It can be said that almost all Chinese people, young and old, know the story about the Eight Immortals. Today, I might as well take it out and share it with you, so that you can see clearly that cultivation is indeed very serious. In this story, we can see that even to become immortal in a lower dimension, one has to go through a strict test. Think about it, what people should do if they want to cultivate to become high-dimensional beings in the universe during the full ratification. Thank you very much for listening to the story. More touching stories will be ready for you if you just subscribe it. Thank you again.